If you know these weaknesses, women will honor you. They will respect you in a way that most men never experience. Today, we are talking about 4 weaknesses that women struggle with at a fundamental psychological level. And as a man, once you understand this hidden knowledge, you become the head. You regain your position as the king of your own domain. Now, let me be absolutely clear about something right from the start. I am not telling you to dominate, manipulate, or disrespect women. This isn't about cruelty or playing toxic games. But the cold, hard reality of human nature is this. When you understand these hidden weaknesses, you stop chasing. You effortlessly become the prize that she wants to win over. You become the king. Think about how much energy you save when you stop running after someone and instead let the natural pull of psychology do the heavy lifting for you. Most men completely destroy their own attraction right out of the gate because they give away their time, their attention, and their value for free. They assume that by being constantly available and overly accommodating, they will build connection. Instead, they just build boredom. But when a woman encounters a man who truly understands her subconscious vulnerabilities, her entire perspective flips upside down. She stops looking at you as an option and starts seeing you as a necessity. The dynamic changes from her tolerating your presence to her actively craving your approval. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you understand these weaknesses, you are not reacting to her moods or her tests. You are observing, understanding, and responding with calm control. And that control is what makes you irresistible. Weakness 1, the absolute fear of being replaced. This is the most powerful emotional fear that women carry, and it is buried deep within their evolutionary psychology. Every single woman on this planet has this hidden fear, even if they might never admit it to you openly. In fact, they will often pretend they are completely immune to it. But now you know the truth, and you must understand it if you want to maintain your authority and your value in any relationship. When a man acts as if he has absolutely no options, no social circle, and no world outside of her, she feels a dangerous level of total security. Now, security sounds like a good thing, but in the context of attraction, complete unearned security breeds complacency. She gets comfortable, she gets bored, and she starts taking your attention completely for granted because she assumes you have nowhere else to go. But the dynamic changes entirely when she realizes that you are an attractive, respected, and highly capable man who other women actively notice. The moment a woman realizes that keeping you is not a 100% guarantee, her psychological evaluation of you completely transforms. Suddenly, she realizes that your attention is a scarce resource. This isn't about making her jealous, acting messy, or playing childish high school games. It is about being a king who genuinely has options because he respects himself enough to keep building his value. When a woman knows that you are the type of man who can easily replace lower value with higher value, she will naturally bow to your standards. Her personal investment in you will instantly skyrocket because she knows that if she slips up, another woman is waiting to take her place. Think about it this way. Human beings simply do not value things that are abundant and easily replaced. If a woman feels like she owns you completely, she stops working to keep you. But when she views you as a rare prize, her subconscious mind switches into preservation mode. She begins asking herself what she needs to do to keep you happy, how she can better serve the relationship, and how she can ensure she remains the top priority in your life. By projecting the aura of a man who is selected by the world, you force her to compete for your space. You don't have to brag about other women. Your lifestyle, your fitness, your ambition, and your confidence will say it for you. She will sense that you are a man of high demand, and that subtle shift alone will make her fall right into alignment with your vision. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts are colored by self-respect and abundance, your soul reflects that. And she will see it, she will feel it, and she will be drawn to it. Because in a world of men who are desperate, a man who knows his value is a rare and precious thing. Let me give you a real example of how this plays out. There was a man, let's call him David, age 45. David had been dating a woman for 2 years. He was devoted, attentive, and always available. He cancelled plans with friends, responded to every text within seconds, and rearranged his entire schedule around her. He thought this would make her feel secure and loved. Instead, she became distant. She started taking longer to reply. She made plans without him. She stopped appreciating the small things he did. David was confused. He was doing everything right, and yet she was pulling away. Then David had a realization. He had made himself too available. He had removed all mystery and all challenge. He had signaled that he had no other options, that his life revolved around her. So David made a change. He stopped being so available. He started focusing on his own goals, his own fitness, his own social life. He didn't ignore her, but he stopped making her the center of his world. Within weeks, something shifted. She started reaching out more. She started asking about his day. She started showing more interest in his life. She had sensed the shift. She had realized that David was a man with options, a man who could walk away, a man who was not guaranteed. And that realization triggered her fear of being replaced. She started investing more effort, not because David asked, but because she didn't want to lose him. This is the power of understanding the first weakness. When you stop being so easily available, you become more valuable in her eyes. She begins to see you as a man who is chosen by the world, not a man who is desperate for her attention. The second weakness is her instinctive fear of missing out. Women are naturally drawn to momentum, progress, and growth. They want to be part of a moving train that is heading somewhere grand, not sitting inside a stationary car that is going absolutely nowhere. In psychology, the fear of missing out is a powerful driver of human behavior. And when you understand how to apply it, her attraction for you will skyrocket. When a man makes himself constantly available, always waiting by his phone, answering texts in 3 seconds flat, and centering his entire life schedule and routine around her, he completely kills her curiosity. There is no challenge, there is no anticipation, and there is absolutely no excitement. He becomes a predictable element in her environment, and predictability is the absolute enemy of desire. But when you switch your focus entirely onto your purpose, building your future, executing your goals, and improving your life, something massive shifts in the atmosphere. She begins to look at your absence and wonder, what am I missing out on right now? What is he building at this very moment? Who is getting his attention? Who is taking his time? This fear of missing out creates a massive wave of curiosity and rapid, intense attraction. Human beings naturally value opportunities they feel are slipping away or moving past them. By prioritizing your execution as a man over constant texting and small talk, you trigger her fear of missing out on a global scale. She will actively try to fit into your world because she realizes you aren't waiting around for her to make up her mind. You are a man on a mission, and your time is a valuable commodity that is ticking away. When she sees you winning, improving, and focusing on your empire, her mind automatically assumes that your life is an exclusive club that she needs an invitation to join. She doesn't want to look back and realize she missed out on a king while he was on his way to the top. Instead of trying to convince her of your value through words, let your absence and your relentless work ethic do the talking. When she realizes that your world keeps spinning beautifully with or without her, she will do everything in her power to ensure she isn't left behind on the platform while your train leaves the station. Think about a man named Michael, age 50. Michael was a successful entrepreneur. He worked long hours, traveled frequently, and had a full social life. When he started dating a woman, he didn't drop everything for her. He didn't text constantly. He didn't rearrange his schedule. He simply invited her into his life when it was convenient. At first, she was uncertain. She wasn't used to a man who didn't chase. But soon, something shifted. She started asking about his work. She started wanting to be part of his world. She started making herself more available to fit into his schedule. She had developed FOMO. She could see that Michael's life was full and exciting, and she didn't want to be left out. This is the power of triggering the fear of missing out. When you live a full, purposeful life, she will naturally want to be part of it. She will adapt to your rhythm, not the other way around. The third weakness is the validation loop. Women are completely drowning in attention, compliments, and cheap validation from average men. Every time they post a photo online or walk into a room, an army of men is ready to shower them with unearned praise. And because so many men give this away freely, without requiring any standard or respect in return, that validation holds absolutely zero value. Human beings simply do not respect what they get for free. When something is handed out to everyone, it becomes worthless. But when a woman meets a king who isn't easily impressed, her entire worldview shatters. When you refuse to shower her with constant compliments and instead judge her by her actual character, her loyalty, and her cooperation rather than just her outer appearance, the typical dynamic is broken. Because you aren't giving your validation away like candy, she suddenly realizes she has to work to earn it. She realizes that your approval isn't a given. It is a prize that must be secured through genuine effort and high-value behavior. Now the tables turn completely. She starts actively seeking your approval. She begins trying incredibly hard to impress you, constantly worrying about whether you approve of her choices, her outfit, her attitude, and her behavior. She becomes hyper-aware of how she presents herself around you because she wants to unlock that rare smile or that genuine nod of approval from a man she deeply respects. Ironically, the validation seeker becomes the validation giver. And that single shift changes the entire structure of the relationship in your favor. Most men believe that by giving a woman everything she wants to hear, they will make her love them. But real attraction doesn't grow from cheap flattery. It grows from respect. When you hold a high standard and require a woman to actually earn your admiration, you separate yourself from 99% of the men she encounters. You become the one man whose opinion actually matters to her because you are the only one who didn't bow down the moment she walked into the room. Let me give you an example. James, age 48, was a man of high standards. He didn't compliment women freely. He observed. He listened. He paid attention to how a woman treated others, how she spoke about her life, and whether she had integrity. When he met a woman who impressed him, he would acknowledge it with a simple, genuine statement. But he never gave praise without reason. Women who spent time with James often found themselves trying to impress him. They wanted to hear him say something positive. They wanted to earn his approval. And that desire to earn approval created a powerful attraction. James had flipped the validation loop. He had become the one whose approval mattered because he didn't give it away freely. This is the power of understanding the third weakness. When you stop being the validation seeker and become the validation giver, the dynamic shifts entirely in your favor. The fourth and final weakness is the undeniable power of mystery and intense female curiosity. When a man operates with a sense of mystery, it triggers a literal cognitive void in a woman's mind. The human brain completely hates an unanswered question. It is wired to seek completion, and it will loop over an unresolved puzzle repeatedly until it finds a satisfying answer. In the realm of psychology, if you can make a person think about you when you are not there, you have already won half the battle of attraction. Most men completely destroy their attraction because they reveal absolutely everything too quickly. The moment they like a woman, they become an open book. They text her all day long, explain every single emotion they are feeling, announce every single move they make before they make it, and become 100% predictable. They lay all their cards on the table, leaving absolutely nothing left to the imagination. But a mysterious man is fundamentally different. He does not see the need to constantly explain himself, validate his actions, or broadcast his future plans to the world. As a direct result, her mind begins running completely wild with questions. She sits with her phone wondering, why hasn't he called yet? What is he working on right now? Who is he with at this moment? Is he thinking about me the way I am thinking about him? Because you aren't laying out every detail of your life for her consumption, her mind is forced to fill in the blanks. She begins searching frantically for answers. And the more time she spends analyzing your behavior and replaying your interactions in your absence, the more emotionally invested she becomes. She is effectively building up your value in her own mind, entirely driven by her own thoughts. A woman can easily ignore, dismiss, or get bored with a man she fully understands and predicts. But the man she cannot quite figure out, the one who keeps his cards close to his chest and maintains his composure, will stay on her mind long after the conversation ends. Curiosity is an incredibly powerful force. By maintaining your mystery, you ensure that she keeps thinking about you, analyzing you, and chasing your attention even when you are nowhere near her. Think about the most fascinating people you have ever met. Were they the ones who told you everything about themselves in the first conversation? Or were they the ones who revealed themselves slowly, who kept you guessing, who made you want to know more? Exactly. The same principle applies here. When you hold something back, when you let her wonder what you're thinking, where your mind is, what drives you, you spark her imagination. And once a woman's imagination is engaged, she's in. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding polarity. Desire doesn't grow in certainty. It grows in curiosity. And mystery is the fuel. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you are mysterious, you are not anxiously dependent on her approval. You are present, grounded, and self-contained. And that self-containment is what makes her want to know more about you. Let me give you a real example. Robert, age 55, was a man who understood the power of mystery. He didn't share everything about himself right away. He was warm and engaging in conversation, but he didn't reveal his entire life story. He didn't explain his every thought or feeling. He simply was present and intriguing. Women who met Robert often found themselves thinking about him long after they had parted ways. They wondered what he was doing, what he was thinking, why he wasn't like other men who were so eager to impress. That curiosity kept them engaged. That curiosity made them want to see him again. Robert had mastered the fourth weakness. He had made himself a question that women wanted to answer. And questions, as we know, live longer in the mind than answers. Now, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly." This applies to mastering these four weaknesses as well. It is not something you can fake overnight. It is built over time, through consistency, through self-awareness, through the willingness to sit with discomfort rather than running from it. It is built every time you choose not to react when you want to. Every time you choose to stay grounded when you feel anxious. Every time you choose to be present rather than performing. And as you build this internal strength, it becomes visible. Not because you try to show it, but because you cannot hide it. It becomes part of your presence. And that presence is what will attract women without you having to say a word. So, start with yourself. Not with the next message you send, or the next date you plan, or the next attempt to impress. Start with the relationship you have with yourself. Are you someone you respect? Are you someone you would want to be around? Are you someone who is whole on your own? Because if the answer is no, no amount of strategy will fill that gap. But if the answer is yes, you will not need to chase. You will simply be, and she will come to you. And that, in the end, is the only way attraction ever really works. Not through effort, but through presence. Not through trying, but through being. Not through seeking, but through having. And when you have that, you have everything you need. You have the center that cannot be shaken, the presence that cannot be ignored, the value that cannot be denied. And that is the man she will choose. Not because you tried to make her choose you, but because you made yourself impossible to ignore. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you cultivate thoughts of purpose, growth, and self-respect, your soul reflects that. And she will see it, she will feel it, and she will be drawn to it. Because in a world of men who are chasing, a man who is centered in himself is a rare and precious thing. Be that man, build that life, and watch how everything changes. So, gentlemen, the four weaknesses are simple. Fear of being replaced, fear of missing out, curiosity about mysterious men, and the desire to earn validation. Master these dynamics, and you will understand why some men effortlessly command attention, respect, and influence from women without ever chasing them down, begging for a text back, or compromising their dignity. You don't need to shout, you don't need to force anything, and you don't need to try to convince anyone of your worth. You hold the cards. You set the frame. You control the narrative simply by refusing to give away your power for free. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus also taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you understand these weaknesses, you are not reacting to her moods or her tests. You are observing, understanding, and responding with calm control. And that control is what makes you irresistible. You don't need to chase. You don't need to beg. You don't need to prove your worth. You simply need to be the man who knows his value and refuses to give it away for free. That is the man she will respect. That is the man she will honor. That is the man she will bow to. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through self-respect, discipline, and unwavering presence. Thank you so much for watching today's breakdown. If you found real value in this deeply realistic look at relationship dynamics, make sure to hit that like button right now to support the content. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss our deep dives into human psychology, and tell me in the comments below exactly which of these 4 weaknesses you are going to implement first to regain your position as the king. Are you going to master the power of mystery, or are you ready to flip the validation loop? I want to read your thoughts, so leave a comment right down below. Remember, the world treats you exactly how you teach it to treat you. If you act like an option, you will be treated like an option. But when you carry yourself with the quiet, unyielding authority of a ruler, the world aligns with your vision. Stop giving away your attention to those who haven't earned it. Keep your eyes firmly fixed on your personal empire and never let anyone shake your emotional core. Stay grounded, stay observant, and protect your peace at all costs. I will see you in the next one.